Jeremy Corbyn should be expelled from the Labour Party for good, according to some in Keir Starmer's shadow cabinet. This is a quote from The Times. Sir Keir Starmer has been urged by his shadow cabinet to expel Jeremy Corbyn permanently after Rishi Sunak tried repeatedly to tie the Labour leader to his predecessor. The Prime Minister's main case against Starmer at 3 successive PMQs has been that he cannot be trusted because he served under Corbyn as shadow Brexit secretary. Curtis, I want you to jump in on this. Can this even be possible? What's your take?
Okay, so when the EHRC report dropped, many of the criticisms that Jeremy Corbyn got was that in terms of anti-Semitism complaints, that Jeremy Corbyn had intervened specifically in a case, which isn't allowed. Now, of course, other reports like the Ford report and the Labour files have exposed Jeremy Corbyn didn't intervene in certain anti-Semitism cases to save his mates. There were 2 cases, and one of them specifically a high-profile case of Ken Livingstone, where Jeremy Corbyn intervened to get him out quicker. All right. But it was also revealed that actually Jeremy Corbyn and his team tried to distance himself from the complaints procedure, as you should. And there were many people in the bureaucracy who were messaging him every day, his staff members every day, like, please, can you look at this? Please, can you look at this? So he was pressured to look into these specific cases. Regardless, though, one of the recommendations is the leader and the lotto should not have anything to do with the complaints procedure. It should be entirely independent, which is a fair enough. I agree with that. And so does Keir Starmer, apparently. Keir Starmer said we should adopt it in full. However, he has intervened in a case specifically in terms of anti-Semitism, the first one being Jeremy Corbyn. He didn't allow that to be independent. And that was proved the case when Corbyn was suspended. They looked at the complaints. They went to the NEC. It wasn't a particularly Corbynite NEC. It was a very well-balanced NEC in terms of all factions. And they decided, well, Corbyn's done nothing wrong. They readmitted him to the party. That should have been case closed. Then Keir Starmer was like, well, I'm not having this. So we removed the whip. Again, intervening in something that he had no bother to do. This will be doing it again. On what grounds can you expel Jeremy Corbyn?
Mm-hmm.
He's already been through the process of suspension. He's been readmitted. The party itself has decided he hasn't done anything wrong. You might be a bit offended what he said, but he hasn't lied. He hasn't been anti-Semitic. He hasn't tried to misconstrue the truth. He said the truth to what he believes, and there's a lot of grounds for what he was saying. So Keir Starmer, in order to expel him, 1, he hasn't got any reasonable grounds to do it, but 2, he would be breaking the rules and recommendations by getting himself involved in the complaints process. So how does this all work? I don't know. But the reason why they're doing it, and this is so pathetic, is to stop Rishi Sunak from bringing up Jeremy Corbyn at PMQs. My God, you're nearly 30% ahead in the polls, and you're worried at what Rishi Sunak is saying at PMQs. My God, have some confidence about yourself.
But surely also if Keir Starmer had almost a stronger rebuttal or a stronger presence, he could shut it down more effectively and really get him good. Because it's like a debate, isn't it? It's a back and forth. You kind of need to have a level of, I guess they prepare to some extent, but I guess that you also need to have a bit of kind of quick-wittedness to you to have a good response. And it's almost like Keir Starmer just doesn't have like a strong enough personality to be able to say anything with like enough conviction that it will shut Rishi Sunak down, and he just won't bring it up again. And that's why he keeps bringing it up time and time again.
Well, he's also backed himself into a corner. So at the beginning of his leadership, and he still does now, his whole project has been to distance himself from Jeremy Corbyn, side socialists and the left, but not just having an internal faction of war against the left. He's publicly come out and basically all but says that Corbyn's kind of a monster as well. Oh, Conservatives, I agree with you. This man is detestable as well. The problem is he's backed himself into a corner because many of us predicted when he was doing that the Tories will attack you on the fact that you were the Brexit secretary under Jeremy Corbyn. You would have been on the front bench. You would have been in government with Jeremy Corbyn. You campaigned for Jeremy Corbyn to become Prime Minister twice. So you now turn around and say Corbyn's this and Corbyn's that. And, well, I agree with the Conservative that he's this bad boogeyman. Yeah. But then they're going to point the hypocrisy. And he's completely backed himself into the corner. Now, had he had some balls and said, all right then, I think Jeremy Corbyn, I don't agree with him a lot of stuff. I think, if I was Keir Starmer, I think he should apologise a bit better, or I didn't like his statement. However, regardless of what we disagree with, Jeremy Corbyn still wanted to make the country better, still would have been a better Prime Minister than Boris Johnson, and I'm happy to admit that. Then Rishi Sunak can't come and say, well, you campaigned for Jeremy Corbyn. Like, yeah, I did. I don't agree with everything. There's some things I think he's completely wrong on, but I would much rather Jeremy Corbyn-led Labour government than your lot. Look what you're doing.
Yeah.
Look, you've destroyed the economy. You've done this, you've done that. And then what's Rishi Sunak going to do? Well, you campaigned for Jeremy Corbyn. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
That's the attack line gone.
Yeah.
Now, Rishi Sunak, because Corbyn's this boogeyman, can continue to attack him every single time. And guess what? Even if Corbyn is expelled, is that
still going to do it? Yeah,
no, because he'd be like, well, okay, you've got him expelled, but you still campaign for him.
And obviously,
he's painted himself into a corner which he cannot get out.
And obviously, with this coming out as well, like the Tories absolutely know that it's rattling him, so they're just going to bring it up more and more. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, definitely backed himself into a corner.
Fully deserved, though. Absolutely fully deserved.
So obviously Jeremy Corbyn still currently has the whip removed. So I've kind of got two questions. What's the difference with having the whip removed and being expelled? And then what would be the difference in terms of Corbyn's career as an MP if he was expelled? Like, would he be able to stand in the next election and those kinds of things?
So as it stands right now, he is an independent MP.
So he's technically not a Labour MP currently?
When the whip was removed, that's what meant he was not a Labour MP. So there is no Labour MP in Islington North. He's an independent.
Right.
And as it stands, because he hasn't been re-admitted to the Parliamentary Labour Party, the next election, someone else will be standing as a Labour MP, and Jeremy Corbyn has a choice to either
join another party or stand as an independent.
Stand as an independent or just not run.
Right.
Being a Labour member has nothing to do with where you sit in terms of the whip and the Parliamentary Labour Party. He's still a member. He still has a right to vote in leadership elections or can join constituency Labour Party.
So being expelled essentially would just remove all of that.
Yeah.
So he's not technically a Labour MP currently.
Yeah, no,
but he still has some rights and some access to
things
within
like anybody else.
Yeah.
Like if I
any average Joe.
Member,
yeah.
If I joined the Labour Party, I have the same amount of rights as Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah.
The Parliamentary Labour Party is where a lot of the power is. So of course we know that Keir Starmer it won't reinstate the whip, and essentially it's going to be another Labour MP there. The question is though, is this not and we're going forward into the next election. This isn't a typical this isn't a typical seat because Jeremy Corbyn is immensely famous. He used to be the leader of the opposition.
And he's held that seat for a very long time.
He's held that seat for 39 years.
Yeah.
There's a really good chance that he could win as an independent. There are some talk in the Labour Party that some candidates don't even want to stand in that seat because I don't think
they don't want to go up against it.
They don't want to go up against him. Now, the most likely scenario is that he would lose it because most people, when you vote for the brand, don't you? You vote for the Labour Party. You don't look at the name. Most people don't even know the name of their constituents. Constituency MP.
Yeah.
So it's still most likely that Corbyn would lose the seat simply because he's not got
he's not attached. He's not attached to a Labour.
But he has a very good chance he can take it off them since, one, he's immensely popular with his constituency. They love him there.
Yeah.
Because he served their constituents very well. And because his name recognition is huge. He nearly became Prime Minister.
I guess it depends, like, as an independent, how much weight would he really hold in government? Like, obviously,
it would be no difference because he's just one vote in Parliament, and most likely he will vote with the Labour Party.
Yeah,
and it would actually, in his case, make zero difference because he's always voted with his conscience. He's not afraid to vote against the Labour Party. I mean, he voted against the Labour Party 500 times his whole career, which some people use that to attack him. I think good on him because he didn't vote for the Iraq
to his
war,
principles.
Stood to his principles. So really, it will make zero difference in Parliament. It will just be like Jeremy Corbyn is a Labour MP, but just votes the way he wants to vote. So that won't change the arithmetic there. It would be no different now because he's technically an independent MP now.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, well, thanks for educating me. I've learned a lot there.